Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a book haul. This book haul is going to cover the books that I bought on my 10th visit to the Book Garden in Cream Ridge, New Jersey. Quite amazing. I enjoy going to the Book Garden. It's become one of my absolute favorite bookstores because of their selection, and George is just an amazing individual. During my visit to the Book Garden this time around, I bought a total of 32 books, which quite something. I really beefed up on my collections of short stories and plays, and I also bought some novels as well, so I thought I would sort it out accordingly, roughly based off of the portion of my visit. I'm going to start with the books and novels, then go to short stories, then go to plays, and then share one more novel because that was the very last thing that I saw and decided to pick up and buy. Let's get started. The very first thing I did was look at the science fiction for nominees and winners of the Prometheus Award. The Prometheus Award is rewarded to works of speculative fiction that bring awareness to libertarianism. And I think I can say that personally I tend to identify as a libertarian. That's just my position. The books that I bought there, I got 3 from Robert A. Heinlein and 3 from Poul Anderson. I got The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, which, funny enough, I already own it, but I'll definitely keep this in stock just in case I have a friend that may want to borrow it or something of that nature. And I also bought Beyond This Horizon and Time Enough for Love. Poul Anderson ones that I bought, I wanted to start with standalones or works that began a series, but the ones that I bought on my visit were Mirkheim, After Doomsday, and The Star Fox. And The Star Fox, for sure, was brought about through the Prometheus Awards. Next, I'm going to move on to the other novels that I bought while I was there. The books that I got that were there, books/novels, were The Last Voyage of Columbus, being the epic tale of the great captain's 4th expedition, including accounts of mutiny, shipwreck, and discovery by Martin Dugard. And this explores Columbus's last voyage to the West. By this time, he has become disgraced. He really didn't set out to accomplish what the Spanish government funded for him, and he eventually drove himself into becoming a pauper, and that's how he died. And I'll be interested to explore this sense of decline. Not because I have anything against him personally, but I always felt that Christopher Columbus was overrated. Next one that I got is Blues by John Hersey. I read A Bell for Adano, and it really struck a chord with me. I really want to get to Hiroshima soon. And this one here pertains to fishing and the relationship between the fishermen and the fish that they're trying to catch. The next 2 that I got caught my attention because they confirmed my attention because my sister got me a list of 100 essential novels. It's a scratch-off sheet where you scratch off the ones that you've read, but I didn't want to do that, so I just put it in a frame and am referring to it. I finally decided to purchase The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. The premise really caught my attention, and I think I want to get more into Faulkner because I've read A Rose for Emily for the show. I read Barn Burning for American Literature class and will be rereading it for future discussion. And I decided for $3, why not get this novel of his. And I also purchased a copy of his complete short stories back in November. Next one that I got is A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. I've heard a lot of amazing things about this book, and so many people from so many different backgrounds have brought it up, and how eccentric and strange it is. And I felt that now was the time to add it to my collection. And I got Traps by Friedrich Durrenmatt, which I bought a collection of Durrenmatt's plays. I didn't get his prose yet because I felt it was the only ones that were available. They're asking for $100, and this was quite a grab. The fact that they have this at the Book Garden. The only thing that I wasn't fond of, which, oh, by the way, this was translated into English by Richard and Clara Winston. But the only thing that I wasn't fond of was the annotating, which I think with some people annotating is encouraged, and I think it's very helpful for some people. I personally don't annotate, but what I am not too fond of is when people annotate and then resell the books, because I personally want to develop my own ideas, and there could be reasons as to why it ended up coming to the store. The person may have the person that owned the books may have passed away, and their loved ones decided they were going to donate their books to the bookstore. But it's not necessarily my thing. But I had to get this because it's Friedrich Durrenmatt. The visit was brilliant, and picking up these books, picking up particular books, it may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because the Book Garden is known for having those hidden gems that you cannot find anywhere else. It's very much like I had to get the Sand Pebbles, because I may have never come across that book again anywhere else. There wasn't any annotating in that book, but still. Before we move on to the short stories, I thought I would share an anthology of novellas / short novels, and that is The Complete Science Fiction Treasury of H.G. Wells. Yes, I do have an anthology that I got from Book Garden, but this is an upgrade, because this includes everything that he's written that was a short novel or novella in the science fiction genre. This includes The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Invisible Man, The War of the Worlds, The First Men in the Moon, The Food of the Gods, and In the Days of the Comet. So, anytime I have that opportunity to upgrade where it's a complete collection, I jump on it. It's the same thing with getting maybe a collection of 3 plays from a particular playwright. But if I have that opportunity to get a complete collection and it's financially sound, I do it. Now we're going to move on to the short stories. I bought several. I got a few more short story collections, and I added to my Best American Short Stories collection. This one is from 2006. It was, the guest editor was Ann Patchett, and the series editor at this point was Katrina Kenison. And I'm hoping to put together a complete collection of these anthologies. Book Garden had a great grab where I got those from 1931 and 1932, which you can see in a previous video. But this includes a wide range of the best short stories of from this year. Donna Tartt actually submitted a short story to this collection. Alice Munro, Alexander Heeman, and so many more. And on the topic of Best American Short Stories, the previous editor, Shannon Ravenel, put together an anthology of news stories from the South. 1999, the year's best. And this has a wide array of short stories from Southern writers, and and her goal with this is to give people a better idea of what the South is like and defy the negative stereotypes that are often placed on them regarding civilization and their positions on race and social issues. And on the completely other end of the country, I got a treasury of New England short stories. A selection of the best fiction published by Yankee Magazine over the past 40 years, which in this case is 1935 to 1975. And has quite an array of writers in here. Plenty of the names you're not going to recognize, but it's definitely worth the attempt. I picked up 100 Dastardly Little Detective Stories, which these are quite interesting when you're able to read detective and mystery stories in a period of time where you give yourself one sitting and use that to figure out what exactly is going on. But I have one of them where it gives you the story, but it doesn't tell you the conclusion. It's up to you to figure it out, and then in the back of the book, it will give you the conclusion. It's this book here, the Little Giant Book of Mini Mysteries, which this is a great collection. This and there's so many other intriguing ideas to this one. Next book that I got is Bedside Book of Famous British Stories. And this was edited and put together by Bennett Cerf and Henry C. Moriarty, which, to me, Bennett Cerf's anthologies and works are almost certainly going to be an auto-buy, because he is such a revolutionary figure when it comes to the publishing industry as we know it. He really did a lot to bring attention to good quality literature, even though I don't necessarily agree with everything that he put forth, such as Dr. Seuss's children's stories. He's just he's got a great taste when it comes to the written work. And this has a wide array of writers. There are actually... This collection has 80 stories in it, so I'll be intrigued to examine this. And the cover's falling off, but there's still a cover. So that's a good thing. Even if there wasn't, I would still have bought it. And I got 2 John O'Hara collections. The O'Hara Generation, 22 stories by the master chosen from his first 9 volumes, 1935 to 1966. And The Horse Knows the Way, a collection of 28 new stories by John O'Hara. I'm interested to explore his backlog and learn a bit more about his writing. Now we're going to move on to the plays, which is where I seem to put a lot of attention. And I just want to get a greater sense of that particular genre, and if we have the ability to incorporate it into the show. Before we were talking about Traps by Friedrich Durrenmatt, and I also picked up The Meteor, which is a play of his. It was described as, by the London Sunday Telegraph, a very funny play about a man who dies twice and yet outlives everybody else in the cast. Which, the reason that I felt I had to get this is because this story was not included in the collected plays of Friedrich Durrenmatt. There were 5 other plays in there, but this one was not included. Next one that I picked up is 16 famous European plays put together by Bennett Cerf and Van Cartmel. And because there are different European plays in here, there are plenty of different translators. There are pioneers, which include Henrik Ibsen and Gerhard Hauptmann. There's Chekhov, Gorky, and Ansky for Russian plays. Cyrano de Bergerac is in here, which is Edmond Rostand's French play. Duval and Guérindeau for French. Sierra and Pirandello for Italian and Spanish. Schnitzler, Capek, Molnar, and Baum for Middle European. And then Synge and Carroll for Irish plays. Then I got 12 famous plays of the Restoration and 18th century, which I don't know much about this area of literature, and that's exactly why I bought it. I wanted to learn a bit more about this period of literature and the plays of that period. And the introduction to this collection was written by Professor Cecil A. Moore of the University of Minnesota. So I'm really intrigued to see what this collection has in store. I don't know if I'm going to read the introduction until after, because introductions may reveal things that I want to come across myself when I read the plays. I picked up New Voices in the American Theater, which includes 6 different plays featured on the cover. Streetcar Named Desire, Death of a Salesman, Come Back Little Sheba, 7-Year Itch, Tea and Sympathy, and The Caine Mutiny Court-Martialed. So it's very intriguing what this collection has in store. Like that one, I got 6 modern American plays. And this one, very similar to the previous collection. The Emperor Jones, which is Eugene O'Neill, which I have. I got complete collections of his from the Book Garden. Winterset, Man Who Came to Dinner, The Little Foxes, Glass Menagerie, and Mr. Roberts. And I got 6 plays by Corneille and Racine, who are French playwrights. And there are 2 plays by Pierre Corneille and 4 from Jean Racine. So, I picked up a collection of Roman drama, which includes Plautus, Terence, and Seneca. I got 3 books from the famous American Plays series, plays from the 1920s, 1940s, and 1970s, which is the ones that they had there. I got Ave Grand Drama, Major Plays and Documents, Post-World War I, which is plays from between the World Wars. They had something with the French Renaissance, but there was so much annotating in there, and I felt that I could get that collection in another. I can get pieces from that collection in other locations that I had to decline on getting that one. But this one has a lot of playwrights that I'm not sure if I can find them in other locations. And I got 4 contemporary American plays edited by Bennett Cerf. And this includes The 10th Man, Raisin in the Sun, Toys in the Attic, and The Andersonville Trial. And the very last book that I got, because they have a collection of R.L. Stine's books right as you are about ready to check out, that and the Boxcar Children. I got Say Cheese and Die by R.L. Stine from the Goosebumps series. This is the 4th in the series, and Ari has brought this up a few times on the channel. He's probably going to bring it up more on the channel, and I am intrigued to check this out for myself. Those are the 32 books I got while I was at the Book Garden. Here is to my 10th visit, and hopefully several more. The Book Garden is celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. They will be open for 30 years in August. I'm definitely going to be going back there by that time. Hopefully I can get back there earlier for another visit. But thank you for tuning into this book haul. I hope you check out some more videos from our channel, and if you like what you see, I highly encourage you to subscribe for more. Thank you, and for now, keep reading.